Next up, we have Loren Sands-Ramshaw. He's CTO at Parlay with me, and he'll be demoing a couple of his packages.
Hey, my name is Loren. I've been working full-time in Meteor for a year and a half, and I have a couple open source packages to show you. First is about DDP. Your Meteor app sets up a DDP connection automatically to your server when the page loads. But you can, if you want to, make your own DDP connections to other servers. Say for instance, you wanted to show weather data on your in your app. You might go to the weather.com REST API and ping it periodically. But if weather.com was an enlightened company, they would provide a DDP API endpoint, and you could set up a DDP connection to them and get real-time updates to the weather. So when you are making your apps, if your app has any kind of generally useful or applicable data that other apps might be able to use, you could publish your DDP endpoint on the DDP directory, which I just made, and there is one type that you can use so far that I made. First, you say what the name of the server that you're doing the connection to, and then you make a collection. Instead of using the default DDP connection to your server, you say, with this collection associated to this DDP connection that I just made. Then you subscribe to the data through that collection. And we can see whether this works. It should work on any Meteor server or Meteor client. For instance, Respondly, which is a great app, which you should use. And so we set up the, OK, it doesn't work because it needs to be HTTPS, because Respondly is HTTPS. And now we can do find one, and we have the data, and it should update automatically. It's a really simple server. This is the code. It sets up the connection, a collection, and then pings the Coinbase API every 10 seconds, and then does an update to the collection. Here's what the Coinbase API returns back. We're saying, how much is it what's the sell price for 1 Bitcoin? It's $226. And that is the subtotal amount right there. So if you find one again and look at the buy prices, they should have changed. Yes, by 1 cent. OK. Next thing, I ran into an issue where I was trying to proselytize Meteor onto somebody, and I wanted to give them a list of commands to do to set up their Meteor app. And I realized I couldn't just do something simple like Meteor create and then Meteor add platform and that, because I realized, well, they won't know how to go between different URLs and switch templates based on what their URL. So I was like, OK, you have to do Meteor add iron router. And then I was like, oh, crap, if they do a form submit, then they're going to post and the page is going to reload. I was like, OK, you should also Meteor add autoform. And so there's like a lot of these packages where I think that they should be by default with your Meteor app. So I made a meta package that all it does is include other packages. These are the ones that I thought were pretty generally applicable, useful to most apps. And I refrained from adding some things to these, and I left them in the full pack. So you can do Meteor create your app, and then the next line can be Meteor add Parlay full pack, and then you get everything in the starter pack plus all these packages, which I think are very useful. And most of them are in my app. And yeah, let's see. And then I refrained from putting a lot of packages in these, and they're down here in case you want to do a certain type of preprocessor, or if you have a certain testing framework that you do, or you want to do certain things that only certain apps do, like REST API or animations. And I can go through some of these packages. Router you should be using for changing your templates based on your URL without reloading the page. Iron router auth, in case you want some users to be logged in on some routes. And yeah, I mean, I tried to give short explanations, and the links go to their GitHub pages. So those are those two. You can find all of these packages and projects on my company's open source page. And that's me on Twitter if you'd like to talk. And that's all I have for you.